Today's video is really about having a little bit of real talk about things that people do that totally kills your spiritual progress. Hi, I'm Elemi from Yeyeo Botanica. Welcome to your spiritual home. And if this is your first time, welcome. Our channel's about spiritual lifestyle and African spirituality. But first, I want to shout out all my people from South Carolina. Woohoo! Welcome. Today's video is really about having a little bit of real talk about things that people do that totally kills your spiritual progress. And we're going to go through some of those mistakes, and I'm going to give you a few sweet things along the way if you stay to the end of the video. So let's get started. So often, we hear people talking about, oh, watch your language, watch what you're saying, what are you thinking? People are always like, oh, I'm a master manifester, or I'm living with intention. But there are times where people are saying all of those things and still kind of doing things that are negative or self-defeating, some would say self-sabotaging, on your spiritual journey and or just your overall progress. And our channel is very much about spirituality and how you can use spirituality to really move your life forward, really level up. And so I thought about what are some of the things that keep happening. And I noticed that over the last couple of weeks, spirituality and I think life is like a wave, right? Sometimes you hear these themes come up all the time. And it's like, oh, what does that mean? And so the theme that I've been hearing pretty often is how people are sabotaging themselves or doing things, saying things that really kill and stunt their progress. And a lot of that is either one, mindset, or two, language. So the first of the four that I'm going to go over, and of course some sweet things along the way, the first one is not following advice, right? Spirit gives us advice, whether we got that advice through divination. And for people who are into African spirituality, the Orisha Elegua or Elegba is the one that really gives a lot, that is our mouthpiece, they say, our human being's mouthpiece for communication, for guidance. Like this is a wash that I just showed you for Elegba, that sometimes people will take that wash before they maybe go for a shell reading or a divination, or if they're making decisions. And so back to the point of not taking advice, people go for a divination, they go to get guidance from spirit, from their higher self, right? And for people who are into African spirituality, from your Ori, and then not take the advice, right? That's a way to really stunt your own growth, because spirit's like, you came over here looking for this advice. We've told you what to do, whether it be for your finances, for your well-being, where you live, partnerships, family, whatever that may be, and that the advice is not being followed. And then when things don't turn out well, wink, wink, I know there's some of you watching this video that are victims of that. Then they're like, oh, well, I don't know if it really worked. I don't know if they really gave me the right advice, but you didn't take the advice. So if the advice is not being taken, it doesn't matter where you go seeking advice, whether it be from a minister, from a priest, from Orisha, from spirit, for people who are into oracle readings or tarot card readings, getting advice and not following it is one of the first things to kill, stop, stunt your spiritual progress, right? So there's no one to blame if you have the advice and not taking it, right? Here's an example of ignoring advice. So whether it be that you know it to yourself, right? Remember, we're talking about mistakes that we make that really kill our spiritual progress. So even if our intuition is giving us this advice or telling us, hey, don't do that, and then we go against it, right? Or someone, whether it be spirit, elder, going for divination, going for a reading, going for a consultation, and getting, hey, don't date the person at work. This happens so often. People date people at work, then it blows up. This happens so often. I mean, right now I have two people recently. One person just got chased out of their job because all of the other women in the job were like, absolutely not to dating the guy at work. And then another person, they just ended up quitting their job because it was just so negative because the relationship didn't work out, right? So that's a way that we stunt your growth, stop your progress, right? Do all these different things that can cause issues. That's not taking, whether it be your advice, your spirit guide's advice, or divination advice. The second one that I wanted to share with you is blaming real world issues on spirit. Oh, Lord. This happens so often in the Botanica, right? Someone comes in, they want to do, let's say, money drawing work. Oh, money's not so good. Want to draw, getting some more money. They come in, they may do some candle work, or they may do baths, oils, drawing, right? And then this happened recently, and one of the ladies was like, really? Like, really? So money came in. The person went on vacation. They threw a party and was just totally celebrating for their birthday, buying 50 million items, right? Person comes to the store and they're like, oh, my finances are still bad. I was here a month ago. I did all this work and I feel like my finances haven't gotten better. And so when asked, well, what happened in the last month? Oh, well, I went on vacation. I went to Jamaica. I was on the beach in Jamaica. I had a birthday party for myself. And I've been waiting for this new coat to come out, and I bought it. Okay, hello. Let me say it again. Hello. You got the money. Those are making decisions with the money and then wanting to blame spirit that they didn't bring the money for them, right? This has happened so often. I've seen it more times than I can imagine. That's a real world issue, right? That's a commitment to your finances issue. I had another person moves into a new apartment, blows all their money on furnishing this brand new apartment because they wanted it swag immediately, instead of like, okay, let's worry about a bed and a sofa and then we could worry about all the other stuff. Instead of, I want it to look like the magazine and HGTV, right? So they go out, blow all their money on their credit cards, and then now they're upset that they have high interest rates and can only pay the minimum on a credit card. That has nothing to do with spirit. Spirit helped get you that apartment. Spirit helped open the way to get an apartment, let's say, with not so great credit or maybe not enough down payment, whatever. So how can they then be responsible for how the person manages their money, right? This happens so often. And one of the ones that I think is really an interesting point, sweet thing. People will know what they're doing and still go against it and then want to blame. That's deflection, right? And so again, if you are sabotaging your success, doing things that really kind of shoot yourself in the foot, don't be mad, but don't blame spirit. All right? Don't be mad and don't blame spirit. So now the third one that I wanted to share with you is this idea of getting advice. one of the things that people do, so one, we talked about getting advice through readings, but this one is, well, it's kind of a sweet thing. So I'll kind of put it in now, where people cause themselves a lot of confusion by asking for too much advice, asking all these different people for advice, bouncing ideas off of too many people. Remember that statement, walk in silence, right? So if you're going to share or ask for guidance and advice from people, it says that the person doesn't have enough confidence in themselves to take their own advice or to feel confident that the decisions that they're making are the right ones. This causes confusion, getting too much advice, too many people stirring in the pot of your business. So just keep that in mind, right? Third one. The fourth one is not having enough spiritual maintenance, right? I want to use this. This is such an example that comes up so often, and people are like, wow, I love it in readings where people are like, oh, I want to know what Spirit's telling me. I've been on my spiritual journey. I've been doing all these things, and I want to know what Spirit's saying. And Spirit's like, you need to go take a bath. Like, you need to go do some spiritual cleaning. You need to clean your house, right? And they're like, what? I've been burning candles. Well, burning candles are out here. That isn't necessarily directly on you, right? So as an example, we sell this incense called Cleansing Powers. So cleansing, you want to cleanse your home. You want to cleanse your space. Maybe cleanse your car. I did a video before on how to cleanse your space at work without people really kind of getting what you're doing. People come in all the time talking about different things that they use at work and how they cleanse their space at work in front of other people, and people don't really catch what's happening, right? Doing things for your own spiritual maintenance. You go get your hair done, physical maintenance, right? Go get your nails done, physical maintenance. Clean your bathroom, physical maintenance. So spiritual maintenance is just a part of living. And a lot of people don't do anything. They don't take a wash. They don't cleanse themselves. They don't cleanse anything. But yet you wash your clothes, right? They don't pray. Hello, pray, right? It's free. It is free. So by doing these things, are ways to help to build and magnify your own spiritual wall. For all of you who are into botanicas and my videos, if you want me to do a video on travel, right, things that you would do to protect yourself during travel, definitely comment below. I want to hear about things that you may be doing, and if that's a video that you'd like to see. Now, the one that I wanted to share with you, and this one kind of ties back a little bit in one that we talked about earlier, and this is my fifth sweet one, is speaking negativity into reality, right? I did a video on negative spiritual self-talk, some of that, but this is mindset, environment, speaking literally, and then it manifests into the material, and we're like, oh, Spirit didn't help me, I can't believe God let this happen. But if you called it and it answered, that's the answer, right? So they say, when you call on Spirit, Spirit answers. When you call on God, God answers. Same theme, right? We say Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. What's the Holy Ghost? Spirit. So in this case, I've had so many of the lines that say, I can't. Negative X cancel. Cancel, right? Then there is, this is never going to work. Cancel. Again, these are negative comments that turn into reality. Someone who wants, let's say, to get a new opportunity. Oh, I don't think they're going to give it to me. And they don't. well, that's kind of what you asked for, right? Versus just saying things that are really positive. The universe rewards positivity, not negativity, right? But the one that I wanted to use as a sweet, sweet thing, because in one day, being today, it came up 4 times. And I was like, oh, Spirit's giving a message here. And the message is, when people say, I can't trust people, right? I can't trust people. Well, if you can't trust people, you can't trust Spirit. And if you can't trust people and Spirit is coming through, whether it be in a minister giving a message, divination, a reader, a channeler, someone who possesses Spirit, however it comes through, if Spirit is using a human person, human body to give you this message, it's a good possibility that the person's only going to follow 50% of the advice because they automatically are leading with, I do not trust, right? So remember that this idea of trusting Spirit is now for the positive. It is tapping into divine information, kind of like using something that says here, divine help, for guidance and help, right? So if we're asking for these things and we're not following it, we're sabotaging ourselves, we're stunting our growth, and we're killing our progress. So I hope that you got some ideas in this video. Remember, I said if you go looking for advice, take it. And if you need help taking it, definitely reach out and ask others. Of course, bad decisions can be blamed on Spirit, God, or anybody else. So think about some of the things that you're doing that can contribute to these issues. And of course, spiritual maintenance. How are you taking care of yourself? How are you deflecting away negative vibrations? How are you bringing in good things, luck, progress, money, love, all those kinds of things? And of course, not speaking negatively over your life. You wouldn't do that over your children, hopefully, right? And if you are doing that over your children, I would encourage you to stop, because now you're hurting them. So remember, speak positively to bring positive results into your life and not sabotage your own spiritual progress. If you got anything out of this video, definitely give me a thumbs up. Want to hear your comments. And to stay in the know, hit that bell for notifications. And see you next time. Remember, focus on the good. Ashe, ashe, ashe.